Good morning, everyone. My name is Jake Papa. I'm the Senior Vice President of Enterprise Sales of Emerge. With me today is Colin, who's our Director of Product. You know, when we first were told that we're doing a 7-minute demonstration, if anything went wrong, my plan was just to blame the internet. But then our lovely marketing team let us know that we actually sponsored the internet today, so they're kind of putting us between a rock and a hard place. Anyone who had a chance to listen with Andrew Leto earlier, Emerge's major focus here is on procurement, specifically on reinventing freight procurement. No matter if it's a spot transaction, annual RFP, or everything in between, Emerge empowers shippers to connect to their network of carriers and brokerages in real time. That's not our only focus today, though. We're also going to talk through benchmarking, and not just any type of benchmarking, but specifically why, when, and how long to go to bid. To take it here for now, Colin's going to show you just how easy it is to use the Emerge platform.
Thanks, Jake. Pleasure to be speaking with you all today. So let's put ourselves in the shoes of a shipper in December of 2021. Maybe we decided, we're going to run a mini bid here because we don't know what the market's going to do, and we're going to lock in rates for 6 months. Well, we're coming up on that 6 months, and now we're left asking, well, what should we do from here? So that's where we're going to introduce this new feature within Emerge's dynamic RFP platform called benchmarking. To answer that question, we're going to take our current contract rates, specify the duration from that bid that we ran earlier this year. So those rates were active from January 1st, and that contract is set to wrap up at the end of the month. And we want to see how those rates compare to what the market is doing today. So after configuring that, we're going to upload our benchmark file. This is just going to be a standard Excel kind of route guide that any shippers at TMS would be able to export. And then we're going to pass it into Emerge's benchmarking system for the rates to be analyzed and then validated. Once this completes, we're going to see here in just a second how each of our individual rates compare to what the market is performing like today. So we can go again down this list lane by lane, understand where is our rate compared to the market today. If we're to go out and procure, are we going to save money? Is it going to cost us more? And then over here on the right, if we zoom in, we can see the expected additional cost or savings that we'll get by going out to market right now. Now, there's an obvious example of, well, if rates are higher in the market today, like I should be considering going to market on others and vice versa. But what's interesting is a lot of shippers in our network that we work with today, are worried equally about lanes that they currently have that are below market. They don't want to lose those valued relationships with carriers, and they're often willing to kind of negotiate on those as a separate part of the procurement process, and they'll exclude those lanes from their RFPs. But for the sake of the demo, what we're going to do here is filter down to all of the lanes that we have here that are over market. We'll check this box, and then we'll go straight to creating an RFP event. So we have all the information that we need from that benchmark to go out and begin procuring rates from our network partners. Now, I've already set up that event that we were just looking at with the same lanes. Within our RFP platform, I can specify information that my carriers need to know about bidding on my freight that's maybe specific to my company. And then the next part of configuring our event before we can go live is really around adding our network partners. So from here, I can go click Add Participants, and then every carrier that I work with and have a relationship with today will be invited to come and bid to submit rates for this contract freight that we're looking at right now. I think one of the important things that's been touched on a bunch throughout the conference so far is is the annual RFP dead? Is mini bids the new cool kid on the block? Emerge doesn't really have a horse in that race. We think that regardless of how markets shift, shippers will need to procure. So whether you're procuring, a week-long mini bid or you're going to an annual contract, our dynamic RFP platform is really designed to ensure that regardless of how you procure, you're procuring in the fastest and most efficient way possible. So you're not spending months setting up events, contacting carriers, and going back and forth. So the bid that we've set up so far is a relatively simple. We only have a handful of lanes in here. I think it's roughly like 30 or 40. But I want to touch on how if you're running larger, more complex bids in our platform, we also support those sort of network style bids. So I've now switched over to a new event with 335 lanes. We have dozens of network partners in here submitting potentially hundreds of bids across these lanes. And if we think about what a shipper's thinking about from here, it's like, I need to figure out how to allocate all of these carriers to all of these lanes in the most efficient way possible. So to handle that need, we've introduced a scenario modeling portion of our application that's designed to do that. For mini bids, you can create scenarios that are just pure lowest cost. Maybe you're working with a subset of preferred partners who you trust and you know will honor the rates. You can run a lowest cost optimization and just knock that right out. For more complex ones, you can create custom rule-based optimizations, and this will allow you to create constraints to then allocate your freight network around. We also support, as you can see here, custom cost formulas. So if you want to discount non-incumbents so their rates actually appear higher when we're doing our optimization, you can configure that here as well. So to create a scenario, we'll begin by adding constraints. So I can add in total contract spend, specify that I want to only allocate, say, $500,000 to maybe each individual participant who is a broker. I can make those requirements over specific sets of lanes as well. So if I have DCs that have certain live load requirements or only support drop trailer, I can configure our optimizations to do all of that as well. Finally, after configuring my optimization, running the solve, and then being happy with the results, I can take that kind of proposed award file and then publish it. So we'll hop over to what that looks like within the platform. So here I can see, based upon my allocations, $2.5 million worth of estimated freight spend within this contract. And then I can go lane by lane as carriers accept or reject their awards and handle one-off situations directly within the platform. So everything is captured. With that, we'd love to talk to everyone in the audience about contract freight. It's kind of our jam. Or RFP freight procurement. So come visit us at booth C10, or we're sponsoring the happy hour, I believe, after as well. So come grab a drink with us.